What is it like to cross between alternate realities, and what happens when we do? In this chilling first episode, we step into the shadows of a reality not quite our own. Inspired by the Fringe episode, The Man from the Other Side, this tarot investigation explores the mysterious bridge between alternate worlds, the kind that's not supposed to exist. What happens when we cross that line? What if we never come back the same? And worse, what if something else crosses over with us? Hello, everyone. Welcome back, or welcome if this is the first time on this channel. We are going to hop right into episode 1 here with this Fringe-inspired series. Question 1. What is the essence of this bridge between realities? How can it be seen? And who is aware of it? So we're pretty much looking at what the bridge might look like, how it functions, and whether or not it's common knowledge that it exists. So we're going to start out with Oracle and move on with Tarot for more information. So let us get our first card out here. All right, we have War. And the second card coming up. And if you hear snoring in the background, that is my Chihuahua enjoying an afternoon nap. He's very vocal about it. All right, then we have the Patriot. The third card. They want to slide. Whoa, almost lost the whole thing that time. All right, picking it all up carefully. There we go. Okay. Dreamweaver. And last but not least, before we start reading, and we have the Blues Brothers. Okay. Well, I believe, looking at this War card and looking at the Patriot, I feel like there are definitely some people who know about this bridge between realities, so it must exist, and it has caused a lot of conflict. And if you recall or have seen the movie The Patriot, it is a pretty powerful movie where people are in the throes of war because of, in this case, taxation. They're fighting against it. But in this case, yeah, I do believe that there is someone who knows about this bridge. And it's one of those things where, obviously, as is kind of common in the human race, anytime there's something unique or something different, somebody has to own it, right? So whoever, the way that they're thinking, whoever owns it has power. And that's what it's all about. And then we have Dreamweaver here. I think the main reason that this bridge formed or was formed, and I see the word spirit guide here with Dreamweaver, I feel as though this particular bridge was brought forth for the purpose of healing. Healing humans, healing whoever needed healing. And that seems to be a thing of the past, though. It's very difficult to hold that vibration, to hold that feeling within, I would assume, the bridge when there's war going on for it. And then we have the Blues Brothers. I feel like this is just saying that because they're on a mission from God, right? I feel like this was something that was brought forth for the purpose of helping humanity in whatever way was possible. And unfortunately, the powers that be, as always happens, kind of changed that. Let's see where that's going to go. We have White Rabbit. We have Justice. And we have National Treasure. So to really look into this, apparently, is going down the rabbit hole, the white rabbit hole, kind of like Alice in Wonderland. That's where you find the deeper truths, what's really going on with this alternate reality bridge. And this is where, if you're going to ask questions, this is where you ask questions. Justice needs to be found. There needs to be a balance here of some sort. And I think pretty much the universe is going to end up taking care of that justice. Maybe not right now, but it'll happen in the future. Either that or the bridge will just dissipate, collapse. Whatever happens with bridges, it's going to happen. And I think it'll be hidden for a good long while. I think until the universe or the angels or whoever chose to do this particular bridge at this particular time decides that we are actually ready to have this, where we don't have those powers that be anymore that seem to have to own and fight for everything, all the power, everything. So most of the information about this bridge is hidden from the people, only because of these guys. It wasn't meant to be hidden. People were supposed to be able to go across, get healed, come back. But that's not the case because these guys are kind of in the way. Also, I'm not really sure what to say about what it looks like, other than this is the image I get. Is the beautiful, kind of like a dream catcher, only with beautiful sparkling lights all around it as you're going across. I just feel like it's a very magical looking bridge, something that as you walk through it, you get calmer and calmer, because obviously going across into an alternate reality could be very scary. But I feel as though the bridge was created in such a way that it just was phenomenally beautiful, which, as we can see, since this is a card of the past, doesn't look like that anymore. They've done some pretty incredible downgrading of vibration. So if there were beautiful lights and that kind of thing, I think they've all just burnt out, just died out. And as to how it functions, I'm going with this. They're on a mission from God. So I'm going to say it functions because the universe wants it to function. The universe created it, or source, whatever you want to say, created it and wants it to work in a magical kind of way. To give people a feeling of magic. A very comfortable feeling of magic in a world of beauty. And as you walk through, it brings your vibration up. It's just a very beautiful, beautiful place to be. Or at least it was. So let's see what the tarot has to share. What more information we can get from this. And it's such a shame, because it always seems as though something really awesome gets taken over by always the wrong people. And it's difficult for just your average, ordinary human like us to gain any benefit as it was meant to be. All right, so war. So war, we have the 8 of Pentacles. And that is a card of these individuals who are fighting for this bridge. They just keep fighting. It just keeps going and keeps going and keeps going. They have to have it. They have to own this. They have to be empowered by this. It needs to belong to them. It's a tangible asset on their part. And with the Patriot, we have the Star. And with the Star, I feel like for me, The star talks about angels and spirit guides, spirit team, otherworldly beings that are helpful to humanity. And I feel like they are trying to help against well, over here we have humans. Pretty much. Humans love to make war, at least some of them. And over here, the Patriot, we have the star. So this is the beings that perhaps helped to create this bridge. And incredibly, they haven't won yet. The humans, I don't know what's happening, but the humans seem to be pretty strong in this. And it is quite a battle. So maybe you could say it's a battle between good and evil. We'll just go that route. And then with Dreamweaver, we have the Lovers. And the Lovers is a choice. And it's also a union. And I feel like what this bridge was meant to do was to bring a person back to themselves, heal themselves, and bring them back to themselves. Create the union between shadow and light, because we need both to be who we are. But again, that's kind of a thing of the past, because we have not so good people trying to make sure that that doesn't happen. And then we have King of Wands. And I suppose we could call the King of Wands the King of Energy, the King of Creation, the King of Imagination, the one who structured whatever this bridge was meant to be. So we'll say Source right there. So just kind of a confirmation. And then we have the Eight of Wands. And this is the fast moving card. The kind of like the it's the breaking news of the day. You need to go down the rabbit hole to find a way to solve this problem, to find out more about this alternate reality bridge. And then we have the Page of Coins with Justice. And the Page of Coins to me is the gift of life. It is a new beginning, a new start, a message that says, here's a gift for you, a gift of life. That's what this was meant to be. That's the balance of what this bridge was meant to be. And then National Treasure, we have the Page of Swords. And with the Page of Swords, this is the logical thinking, the first thought basically that says we need to make this a national treasure so that it and hide it. We need to hide it. They're talking about hiding it, because no matter what they do, these people here seem to totally disrupt what this bridge was meant to do. So they're considering hiding it away. That is the first thought, to take care of this problem. And maybe they'll bring it out again once these evil ones have gone away or moved on to something else. All right, so let us do a little bit of cleanup here. And we'll move on to question 2. So part of my system here is to tuck these cards. And I know it's a little slower process, but then when I shuffle them, we know that we're not going to get all of the same cards again. We might get a few, and when we do, we know that they're important. All right, so let us get the oracle cards back in. Try to keep them from sliding all over creation. They feel great to shuffle, but they're so slick. Okay, so let's move on to question 2 here. What draws someone to use the bridge and cross to the other side, if we were able to? So in other words, why would we decide to move between realities? And is there anything left of us on this side if we did? All right. Let's see. We've got don't look back. Kind of interesting how that looks like a bridge. And I'm going to bring it up closer so you can see. Looks like they're getting ready to walk across a bridge into something they can't see. It's so bright. Did I? I don't know if I did. Maybe I did. Yeah, I think I did. I couldn't remember if I split. Okay, we have the giver. And next is Murder on the Orient Express. All right. We have pushover. And to reiterate the question again, what draws someone, us, to use the bridge and cross to the other side? In other words, what motivates us or triggers us to do so? Why do we want to move between realities? And is there anything left of us on this side when we do? So we have don't look back. And this is literally what it looks like. If you're going to go across that bridge, if you get the opportunity, it's saying don't look back. Go forward, embrace the call. So I feel as though when it's your time to go, it's telling us that you hear something calling you from the other side. You hear something calling you. And with the giver, this is, and it says right at the top, it says search for truth, find freedom. Can you see that up there? It's not going to focus for me, but search for truth, find freedom. And that would be one of the reasons, I suppose, to go across is to find freedom. Freedom within self. Because as question 1 said, the bridge is all about healing, and there's many different kinds of healing. It isn't just physical healing. It's physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. As humans, we're a little of all of that. So this is the search for freedom for ourself. And then we have Murder on the Orient Express. I think at one point in time, this bridge was not a good place to go. Bad things kind of happened when going across to the alternate reality, but that's a thing of the past now. It used to be, the way that it looks, it used to be something where people were tempted across, purposely tempted across, and sometimes even pushed over, pushed from behind, made to go across this alternate reality bridge. But again, that is no longer the case. That's not done anymore. So then we have Gladiator, Midnight Train to Georgia, and the Poseidon Adventure. So I feel with the question, when it says what draws someone or us to use the bridge and cross to the other side, I think this is just saying so that we can shout out our authentic selves, who we really are. We need to find out who we really are before we can shout out who we really are. And I find it interesting. We have two train, Murder on the Orient Express and Midnight Train to Georgia. Midnight Train to Georgia is by far the friendlier of the two. Thank goodness this is the past card. This is also saying we go to find out who we really are. And one of the things that it says is returning to roots, living a simple, authentic life, and realizing that love is more important than fame. So we go there to heal ourselves and to find out who we truly, truly are. To find our freedom, to find our truth. And with the Poseidon adventure, I feel like this is just saying that sometimes in crossing over, because things are, maybe they're very clear over there. Because if the bridge is, as we saw with Dreamweaver, its intentions, as we go across, we begin to feel differently. We begin to open up to the possibilities of what's on the other side because of how the bridge was constructed, okay? This might feel very upside down, very topsy-turvy to us, not being accustomed to that kind of a feeling. When we get over there, we might feel upside down. Like things have, maybe the colors are brighter because, as we're going through, things are changing in us. Our vibration is being raised. It's almost like we have to have the raised vibration to be able to go across, and the bridge helps us get there. Maybe if our vibration isn't raised as high as it should be, perhaps things feel very wrong, very upside down. So let's see what the tarot has to share. And as for what is left on this side when we do cross that bridge, if you can see this card, the coloring, everyone looks a little ghostly in this card because of the coloring. So I think there is an essence of us that remains here that we can return to. All right, so with Don't Look Back, we have King of Coins. And this is a card to say, by going across the bridge, when we come back, our life here on earth is just the way we want it to be. We understand that we have the control to make our life as we want it to be, because we've healed all those things about us that put doubts and fears and that kind of thing through our childhood, the things that we took in as beliefs and that didn't serve us. So we got rid of all that across that bridge. And when we come back, we know how to structure our lives to make ourselves the happiest. And then we have Queen of Coins, or Queen of Pentacles, with the Giver. And again, that was the search for truth and freedom. And the Queen of Coins, or Queen of Pentacles, is nurturing ourselves, caring for ourselves, caring for our human self, caring for our soul, it's the ultimate mother energy for the earth. We have King and Queen here. And then with Murder on the Orient Express, we have the Queen of Wands. And yes, this was, things didn't look as they now do. This was the energy at one time, Murder on the Orient Express, where they made people go. And it wasn't at all what you would expect it to be. It's not a very good place. And with pushover, we have the Page of Swords. Somebody thought that this was to do this, to make people go across. Somebody thought this was a grand idea. It wasn't. Was not a grand idea. With the Gladiator, we have the Eight of Swords. And a part of this process made us feel very victimized, made us feel very trapped in ourselves. We couldn't throw out our authentic self and go, here I am. This is who I am. Take it or leave it. Instead, we were bound and, well, pretty much I think we were not respected for who we actually are. So on the midnight train to Georgia, yeah, we've got the Ten of Wands, and this is we're letting go of all the burdens, returning to our roots, understanding what an authentic life is all about, and realizing that love is ever so much more important than having all the wealth in the world, being famous, worshipped, that kind of thing. We let go of all the burdens. And with the Poseidon Adventure, we have the Chariot. And the Chariot can be a card of movement. So I'm going to say, well, it is a card of movement. And, you know, Poseidon Adventure, we know that the ship went upside down. So our lives, in going across to the other side, everything changes. Everything. What we leave behind over here is just an essence, again, of ourselves so that we can return and return to the earth in such a way that we are brand new people. We've healed and gotten rid of all the unnecessary burdens. All right, so let us clean up the cards and move on to question 3. Hope you're enjoying this right now. I absolutely love doing these readings with kind of unique places, unique ideas, that kind of thing. So if you are enjoying it, please don't hesitate to like and subscribe and even leave a comment. I'd love to read some comments. So let's put these back too. I know this is kind of a long way round to do this, but it's just kind of the system that works. All right, so let's move on to question 3. What changes when a person crosses one reality to another? And it's saying what transformation or shift happens. And we just talked about that as to what draws someone to go across. And somewhere along the line, we hear that, you know, we're going to be healed from this going across this bridge. We have Bird Box is the first card out. So this may or may not be a similar question. Sometimes there's very, very similar questions, and then the answers that you get from them are so different. So we're going to find out. We have Roadhouse. And we have the Song of Songs. And Michael. All right, so what changes when a person crosses from one reality to another? First thing I think is where we somehow get the idea that it's probably better to go across this alternate reality with our eyes closed. Not that anything horrible is going to happen to us, but for some reason, things flow better. I feel like they're saying that things flow better if we don't open our eyes as we cross to the other side. As for what changes, again, as we talked about in the last question, if you remember the movie Roadhouse, it's a place that there's a lot of trouble. So they hire Patrick Swayze to clean it up. And he does eventually clean it up. It's very difficult, a very, very difficult job. There's a lot of really bad people he has to deal with, but he himself knows who he is and what he has to do. He has a specific purpose. That's what he's there for. And he ends up doing exactly that. He cleans up this place of business so that it is a great place to go. So that's pretty much what's going to change when you cross into this other reality, because you are going to know who you are and you are going to discover, I think, what it is you really, really want to do and what's going to make you the happiest when you come back to Earth. And with the Song of Songs, this is a past card. And I feel like it's saying, kind of like there's certain birds that have only one sound. Doves, I mean, you can hear, or pigeons, you can hear them make kind of the same cooing sound over and over and over and over again. And I feel like this is saying, this is the song you've been singing. It's time for it to change. That song no longer works for you. And I feel like you get the opportunity to meet your angels and your spirit guides actually in person. So let's move on. The Last Samurai, The Karate Kid, and Return. Yeah, you're going to be remade. I mean, you have no choice but to change when you see what all is over on the other side of that, in that alternate reality across that bridge. You're going to become a very, very different person. You're going to know your own mind and your own heart. And you can return at any time. Anytime. Now, this is all great if we can find a way to be able to get there, find that bridge or find another bridge very similar to it and make sure that the powers that be don't find it, right? So let's see what the tarot has to say here. We have, with Bird Box, the Nine of Swords. Yeah. They're saying here that it's probably better because it's an unknown thing on the other side. No matter how many beautiful things that you hear, there's still anxiety, there's still trepidation about going across. So it's probably better that you keep your eyes closed, because then things can flow without visual stimulation. With Roadhouse, we have the Hierophant. And the Hierophant to me is a teacher, a mentor. And I believe that there's people over there on the other side of the bridge that know their business and know how to work with you to help you find your purpose, to help you find who you are so that you can be a powerful force. And with the Song of Songs, again, we have the Burden card, which is, it's a completion of the burden. You're still carrying it, but it's the last leg, pretty much. So it's saying you don't need this song anymore. You don't need those burdens anymore. And with Michael, we have the Ten of Swords. This is the ultimate communication. You're going to have the highest communication with your angels and your spirit guides and that kind of thing without issue, without any interruption. You can talk to them face to face if that's what you choose to do. It is the ultimate place for communication of that kind. And with the Last Samurai, we have the Chariot. Yep, it's fast moving. You're going to look at, we've got him riding as fast as he can go on this horse, the Last Samurai. He couldn't help but become somebody different. And when he did, he raced forward to defend that. Defend those people. Defend his newfound self. And this is the power, the Chariot. And then with Karate Kid, we have the Eight of Cups. And this is pretty much walking away from walking away from trying to master your emotions, so to speak. You're going to have a balance of mind and heart. So there really is no need to walk away from the emotions. You've learned to balance all of this. And return, we have the Lovers. You always have a choice to return if you want to. I don't know if you can actually live there. Maybe. Doesn't really tell us on here, but yeah, I think it's very, very possible. Okay, so let us pick these up and move on to question 4. There's 6 questions in this episode. I think if I could go back on that first question, what is the essence of this bridge between realities, and see those cards again, something's floating around in my mind about that. Trying to remember what the past the past card was Dreamweaver, that's right. All right. Okay, so question 4. What are the unseen dangers or benefits that await in the alternate reality? Things that aren't immediately obvious. Okay, so we have signs. The net. I've never been to me. And in the present position, we have good news. All right, so question again, what are the unseen dangers or benefits that await in the alternate reality that aren't immediately obvious? So there's signs. There are signs there, just like there are here. I feel as though the signs are a little clearer there than they are here. So maybe they actually are on neon signs, which is what I always wished they could be here instead of so cryptic, because they're really cryptic here for sure. And it appears that something that isn't needed over there are credit cards and bank accounts and birth certificates and all those things. There's nothing over there on that other side that make you feel like you're part of a corporation or just a number. Nothing like that over there. And here we have, I've never been to me. And if you've never heard that song, it's a beautiful, beautiful song. It's by Charlene. But this is a thing of the past, hollow choices and longing for more, or having superficial experiences, or, yeah, you've never been to me. I've never been to me. It means you've never really known yourself, never really done the things that you've wanted to do. And that is a thing of the past here. And that is the good news. Teach your children. Mother and child reunion. And the illusionist. All right, so here with the teach your children, this is honoring your ancestors and creating the path that you want. You can do that over there because you're starting to know who you are. You're starting to know what you want and why you want it, because you're healing all the things that no longer serve you. So things are becoming very clear. You're beginning to build your future. You're having emotional reconnections with yourself. So when we have mother and child reunion, this could be father and child reunion as well, but the mother, the adult in you, reuniting with the child in you. Powerful stuff. And then the illusionist. Whereas here, like I said, you don't need the illusion anymore of this world. It's not necessary. Everything becomes real. So let's pull. And I'm not really seeing any dangers here, other than when you come back, trying very hard not to fall back into these. But I think you're strong enough in yourself. And again, you can always return, if you don't feel like you're strong enough yet. So let us see what tarot has to share. With signs, we have the 2 of Cups. And yeah, the 2 of Cups is all about coming together with self. It can also be about relationships with others, but in this case, it is coming back together with yourself. Your shadow side, your light side coming together. With the net, we have the 8 of Wands. And yeah, this is the energy that's moving away. Swiftly moving away. The Emperor. Yeah, this is, you've never been to you. I've never been to me. Because there's always somebody else who has told you what you should be doing, how you should be doing it, how you should live, what you should do for work, what's best for you, and you've never really had the opportunity to decide for yourself exactly what you want, how you want life to be here. You may have an inkling, you may have ideas and dreams and things like that, but in that alternate reality, there is no emperor telling you what to do. The good news, we have King of Swords. So the good news is you're allowed to think for yourself over there. You get to decide everything about you. Teach your children, we have Temperance. This teaches you balance. You learn to balance all the things that you struggle with here. You learn to balance your heart and your mind. You learn to balance creating your path and building your future. One moment. And then Knight of Wands with mother and child reunion. This is the active energy. The adult and the child coming together. The emotional reconstruction or reconnection that comes with it. This is the energy. And you've yearned for your child, meaning your childhood self. Because even if your experience wasn't a good one, growing up, there's still some parts of childhood that weren't bad, that allowed you to be freer. And then we have the Page of Coins here with the Illusionist, and isn't that interesting? I gotta show you up close. We have this orb that he is holding, and what is the Page of Cups or coins holding? It looks like an orb. It's a pentacle, but it looks like an orb. And there's also another behind him in the stained glass. So with the Page of Coins, it's a whole new beginning to life. Whole new beginning to your life. Those are the rewards. I don't see any dangers except for what we deal with here. And in coming back, what we could possibly fall back into. But again, a person could return and redo some of the lessons or however things are done over there. My opinion, this sounds like a wonderful, wonderful place, and it appears that we're being kept from it. Which, sorry, I don't know about you, but it doesn't surprise me. All right, so let us get this picked up here. We'll move on to question 5. I was going to try to put one of those big cards with the little tarot cards. All right, so question 5. How does crossing between realities affect someone, both here and there? What consequences might ripple through both worlds as we cross? If there are consequences, I guess we'll see, right? All right. So we have Sixth Sense. We have Field of Dreams. We have Teach Your Children. And we have little Willie. All right, so reiterating the question, how does crossing between realities affect someone both here and there? So what consequences ripple through both worlds, or maybe there are no consequences? So I see here, as somebody crosses across, I believe that, well, this sixth sense becomes activated. We all have it, but I think it becomes extremely activated and allows us to see, once we open our eyes on the other side, because remember we had bird box there, keep your eyes closed, it activates this sixth sense, which allows us to dream in ways that maybe we've not been comfortable dreaming about. And, you know, the main line of this card is build it and they will come. Well, this bridge was built and people would come if they could. In the past, here, we had to work really, really hard to try to teach our children, and I'm going this route, teach our children the way that we feel our children should be taught. It's almost as though they don't belong to us. Like we really didn't belong to our parents. Our parents, well, a lot of parents are like children anyway. You know, they probably shouldn't have children till they're older. So we're kind of, I don't want to say experiments. I mean, I had my first child at 19. I had never babysat in my entire life. And here I had this newborn child that I was caring for. And I had to grow up really, really quickly. But she didn't come with a manual. So everything was trial and error. So I feel as though she probably had a more difficult time than my fourth child. Because by then, even though they are two totally different personalities, by then I had kind of matured and had a little bit more logical mind. But I feel as though our children are no longer our own here. And if you have kids, I think you'll understand. And here with little Willie, this is about healing the teenage years and releasing any regrets, releasing defenses, and celebrating the lessons that life actually gives us. So as we're going through crossing between realities, the ripple effect here, your sixth sense activates. You start seeing the dreams, the real ones in your mind. And you start right away releasing things, seeing and remembering, okay? You need to remember first. You remember your childhood before anything, and you start releasing everything. And that will ripple. I mean, obviously, you can't hold on to something you've released. It's already gone. So let's move on here. Let's see more. King Kong, guidance, and bringing up baby. Okay, so 1 second. There are those who try to hang on to their childhood and all the bad things that happened. They feel as though it makes them who they are. And in a way, to some degree, yes, it does. But you don't know if that's your authentic self, right? But there are those who hang on. Crossing across, you are going to have guidance. There's going to be guidance there. There's going to be people who, well, the card is called Bringing Up Baby, who are going to give everything they have to help you become the person you want to become, just like parents do with their children, teaching your children. There's going to be people guiding you and teaching you. You will eventually be able to release everything. And it can't help but ripple wonderfully in both places. So let's see what tarot has to share. All right, so with the Sixth Sense, we have Queen of Coins. That is the magical being that you are. I'm going to say the mother. Your earth mother self. She's the one that takes care of all those practical things. All the practical things. And she's going to have to step aside a little bit for this Sixth Sense. But you will also understand why she is who she is, why she chooses to be that practical individual. Field of Dreams is with the World. Yeah, build it and they will come. This is a completion of our dreams. Whatever we learn over there ripples back to Earth as we come back. It's a whole new vibration. King of Swords. Power of thought. Very structured thought. It's how we attempt to teach our children or our inner child. I'm in power, not you. And we have Judgment. Yeah. This is the time, you're being called to release all the things that have hurt you, that you've struggled with, belief systems that you're unsure of. You're just being called to release everything that was painful and to celebrate the lessons for what they are, rather than, oh, I really dislike that person because they hurt me. Well, what lesson did you learn from that? And learning how to celebrate what you learned from that experience. So much is going to go on over there. And we have the Three of Hearts. Yeah. Again, there's going to be some people who really don't want to let go of who they are. And they would really prefer the Sword in the Heart. For other people, this is the Three of Swords is about betrayal and deceit and things like that. There are those who really enjoy that life. Okay, but for others, this Three of Swords is growth of knowledge. When you're over there, you're going to learn so much. So much. And it's going to be powerful learning. And we have the Wheel of Fortune. So you kind of can take your pick as to who you would like over there to guide you, and when and how. And there might even be a wheel that says spirit guides, angels, spirit team, spirit medical team, animal guides, etc. That you can spin the wheel and decide where you want to go first and who you want to guide you. And the Page of Cups. Yep. These people are going to be helping bring up the baby. They're going to start you with so much love. It starts with love. That's just the way it is. So the ripple, there's going to be ripples of love. There's going to be ripples of Sixth Sense. There's going to be ripples of dreams. There's going to be ripples of childhood releases, teenage releases. Freedom. So we have one more question. Okay. Put this all away. Whoop, forgot one of the little ones. I do that a lot. Okay. Oop. They want to get away. All right. All right. So the last question. What happens if the bridge remains in place? And will it remain open? And what will happen if people use it indefinitely? Keep using it. Now, this is providing we can ever use it, due to the first question where we saw, well, I guess good and evil battling for it. So we have Song of Songs, which we had before. And we have Man on Fire. The Pursuit of Happiness. And Forrest Gump. Okay, to reiterate the question, what happens if the bridge remains in place? Will it remain open, and what will it mean if people use it indefinitely? All right, so the Song of Songs, I feel like here is saying you are going to find your ultimate song. The song that your spirit sings to, the song of your heart. This is what you could find there. Man on Fire. This is a movie about being a bodyguard and taking care of, well, in this case, it would be Dakota Fanning in the movie. This bodyguard had a lot of issues. Really didn't know who he was, and or almost as though he didn't have a reason to live that he felt was worthwhile. Just pretty much very destructive to himself. And this is going to be the type of people who really need to go through to find their Song of Songs. The Pursuit of Happiness would be a thing of the past because you know where to go to find out this information. And, you know, as it says, life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're going to find. So when you pass over to that other reality, things happen along the way. Your vibration gets higher. Things become clearer. So many things that we covered in the other questions. And you never know what you're going to find on the other side. Let's see what else we have. Dreams. Dragonfly. And Back to the Future. So with dreams, everybody has dreams, I think. So by being able to get through any time that you want to go through to the other side, perhaps you're allowed to explore numbers of dreams that you have, not just one. Maybe you can go over there and you can say, well, I really just want to know what would happen if I took this path. Maybe you have two separate paths you are considering and you want to know, they're both kind of dreams, but which is better for you? Which which rings more true to your soul. And then with Dragonfly, I think here, this is also interesting because I feel like some of the people that we have lost who have died here, we can connect back up with them in that other reality also. They might not have passed over there, or since we can, communicate really well with our guides and our angels and so forth, no different than with our past loved ones. And I think we can actually view the future. As I was talking here with the dreams, we can actually view the future. So I think what this is saying, it says, what happens if the bridge remains in place? Well, everybody needs to go through. That's what would happen. And it doesn't look like anything bad happens, if people use it indefinitely. I imagine there could be a little bit of issue if a person uses it and comes back and does not do anything with the information that they have received and goes back again because they're never really happy. But I don't think that happens. There's something that so much that changes in us over there that we aren't that way anymore. We aren't destructive to ourselves. So with Song of Songs, we have Knight of Coins. And yeah, this is becoming active with our life because we know the song of our heart, the song of our soul. Ace of Cups. This is a whole new beginning of learning to love like we never have before, realizing the potential of love. And when you're there, there's no room for destructive thought, destruction to self. And we have the Two of Cups. And as I said, there is really no pursuit of happiness if everybody's gone through this bridge. There's never an issue with the pursuit of happiness because we already know who we are, what we want. Happiness is just a perk. And with the Two of Cups, that's just, again, we come together. We're one now. There aren't two. You're one. And Forrest Gump, we've got the Five of Pentacles. It's the chaos that can come from so many options, so many things that you can do in life. That box of chocolates has a lot of different kinds in it. So yeah, there can be a little bit of chaos. Nothing wrong with that. And the Four of Swords. And taking time to examine your dreams. Taking the time to actually rest the mind and allow the dreams to surface. This is the Six of Swords. This is going to the other side. Leaving behind something that, having left behind communication, you're moving to the other side where, again, you can have communication. And again, we're talking about past loved ones and the spirit guides and angels and so forth. And Back to the Future, we have the King of Cups. It's a future of love. The structure of the world, the structure of us as humans. It is about love, not anger and fire and war and none of that. It's not about that. Not anymore. So if the bridge would remain in place, people would wander to it, go through it, and things would change. Things would definitely change. Now I'm going to pull, let me think here. That was the last question. But I want to know And I'm just going to pretty much pull, we'll see if one card does it. One of the oracle cards and maybe one of the tarot cards. I want to know if we're ever going to have access to this bridge. If good and evil stop fighting over it, if we're ever going to have access to this bridge that sounds like such an amazing, amazing place, right? All right. Whoop, turned it the wrong way. All right, so we are just going to, I think I want this pile. All right, so are we ever going to have access to this bridge as was intended? Or is it going to become a national treasure? Field of Dreams, build it and they will come. I'm taking that as a yes. And unfortunately, time is not a thing that I can give in tarot. So I'm not going to try. All right, so anything else from tarot? Queen of Pentacles. Build it with care, build it with love in mind, nurture it. They will come. So everything, every nurturing possibility that can go into building that bridge, making sure that bridge is open, that is what they're giving us, what they're offering. So yes, it is going to open and we will have a chance to go through it, and there's not a lot of risk. Doesn't sound like, only good things as long as you're open to the experiences that you have as you go through. So that is it for this episode. It really went a completely different way than I expected it to go. It happens. It's what the cards do. So next week, and the schedule for the shows will be up on the screen here shortly, but next week we will uncover disturbing truths about secret psychic experiments and the hidden agendas driving them. Are we being used for something far darker than we know? Thank you so much for joining, and I hope you have a fantastic week. See you next time. Take care.